this.
Welcome back, TPR Nation. This is your host, Micah Shalansky, with another Tips from the Trenches. On this mini pod, I want to talk about the subtle things that we do. Everything helps or everything hurts. There's nothing that is neutral in our industry. Exceptionally speaking, when we're talking to clients and prospects, everything helps or everything hurts. What are the subtle things that we do that we are subconscious about doing that are actually turning people off? Now, the reason this came to me is a couple of different reasons. Number one, I hired a coach, I hired a coach. We had a video call, and during that call, about halfway through it, he held out his wrist. He looked down at held out his hand. He looked down at his wrist, and he was looking at the time. And that is a signal of being rude. I do not have time for this call. Now, he said in his defense, he says, I'm just checking the clock to make sure we have enough time to continue going forward. And I got thinking about that, you know what, I can understand that. Business owner, I got to run a conference room. I got to run the meetings as well. We got to stay on time. However, there's a way to do it and a way not to do it. For example, the way not to do it is to look at your watch. It's just rude. It's a subconscious thing that sometimes that we may do, but everyone knows that just means I don't have time for you. So what's a way that you need to effectively do it? Well, one of the things that we do in our conference room is we have a clock behind where the client sits. Therefore, while I am looking at the client, I can be seeing the clock. I take notes on my iPad. That means every time I go to take a note on my iPad, there's a clock on there. I wear a wristwatch, but I never look at my wristwatch while I'm chatting with a client or a prospect. Why? Because it's a sign that you don't value their time, that you have something else you would rather be doing. What's another thing that we can do that's so subtle that's in the conference room? What about looking away from the webcams? How many of us have Zoom fatigue and we are tired of the next Zoom meeting to next? Well, that may or may not be the case, but guess what? When a client or prospect is in front of you, that time is designed for them, and you need to be 100% gauged in that webcam, not looking at another monitor, not doing something else. You need to be gauged looking at your webcam, and through your peripheral vision, you need to be seeing them and what actions they are doing. And don't say this doesn't matter. That is something that the losers say. That is something that people who are unsuccessful say all the time. Successful people will tell you everything counts, everything helps, or everything hurts. So what are you doing in a conference room that's helping build? Here's a tip. Why don't you put a camera up and record your next webinar, record the next Zoom meeting that you have, and watch what happens? Why don't you just record your Zoom meeting that you have? Click that record button, send it to a friend, and have them review it and have them go through it. You may or may not like the feedback, but what are the little things you're doing that are not helping with effective communication? And let's be clear, our job is 100% effective communication. We've said this before. I don't care how smart you are in financial planning. If you cannot effectively communicate that with your audience so that your clients and prospects can get great advice, so that they can get massive value and be able to take that and implement it in their life, then guess what? The advice you have doesn't matter because you couldn't communicate it. And everything we do is about communication, and everything helps or everything hurts. All right, so here's your tip, your action item. You need to go put a recording up. Whether you record your Zoom camera or set your iPhone up in the background and record the next meeting that you have and watch it and send it to someone else. Send it to another financial planner that will give you honest feedback on your meeting, not your financial planning techniques, your communication techniques, because this is a game that we can always improve on. All right, TPR Nation, until next time, happy planning.
Hold on before we go. Something that you need to know. This isn't tax, legal, or investment advice. That isn't our intent. Information designed to change lives. Financial planning can make you thrive. Start today, don't think twice. Be a better husband, father, mother, and wife.